Hello, and welcome to my channel where I buy junk for way too much money in hopes to fix them and hopefully make my money back on it. This is my most recent purchase. This is a 2020 Sea-Doo GTI that has been wrecked and abused for most of its life because it is a rental jet ski. I just recently did a video on a Yamaha jet ski that was a rental one that ended up pretty badly. It's pretty much dead in the water right now. And I said not to buy another one, and I bought another one. But to be fair, I did buy this a couple days after I bought that one, so I did not know all the bad stuff that was going to happen. So hopefully this one's going to be a little different. So let's go over all the bad things and then look over the couple good things that this thing has. Wow, what a hole. My other jet ski has a hole in it too. It's just a hole in the motor. As you can tell, this thing has been wrecked. I don't think it took on water. I'm assuming this happened either on the trailer or on the dock where another one hit it. You'd have to hit it pretty hard in the water to do this kind of damage. So I'm assuming this one was stationary and then another one hit it and did all this damage to it. Might be wrong. This is all guessing, but I'm assuming that is what happened. Luckily, I think I can fix all this. This top part is fiberglass. I can fix all this. I've fixed worse than this before. I'll have to create a new body line right here, but all that should be pretty doable. Fiberglass is pretty easy to work with for the most part. Now this is the more concerning part. Sea-Doo a while back switched from fiberglass bottoms to this Polytech kind of bottom, which is like a plastic mixed with fiberglass. It's supposed to be lighter and more durable. I have seen problems of like hitting big waves or big impacts and it cracking, but that is usually on the Sea-Doo Sparks. I don't really see it too often on the Sea-Doo GTIs, at least from what I've seen. I'm pretty new to all these Sea-Doos, especially newer ones, so I'm just judging this based off what I've seen on YouTube and Facebook Marketplace. So this stuff is a little bit harder to work with and harder to repair. You have to use plastic welding rods and some other stuff. So that's gonna be a little bit more difficult, especially with this big crack up here and big missing chunk. I'm going to try and fix this because I would like to save some money and not have to swap the motor over and everything. So we're gonna try to save this with some fiberglass, and I bought the plastic welding rods to fix some of the cracks. We're just gonna make it look a little bit prettier and hopefully make it less noticeable. Now that is the main damage on this. Some other damage includes broken plastic pieces on the seat, missing bumper brackets, some more missing pieces, scratched up paint, scratched up gel coat. There's no other like major wreck damage. There's a little crack on the front, but that is all okay, especially when we fix this. We're gonna have to repaint all that anyway. We have a ripped seat that we're gonna need to replace. Some grip tape that is coming up, needs replaced. Front end has some damage on these plastic pieces. It is missing one of the mirrors that is all cracked off. Need a new one of those. This plastic tip is cracked a little bit, I'm guessing from loading it onto the dock and everything and hitting other Sea-Doos. Most people who rent Sea-Doos have not driven them before, so they get wrecked a lot. Missing this front end piece, that is another bumper mount. These little bumper guard things probably need replaced. There's a lot of chunks missing out of them and deep scratches. We'd like to replace that too. The fin over here is broken, need a new one of those. Plastic pieces on the back where the jet pump is, those are broken. And lastly, I'm not sure if it had it or not, but there's supposed to be a little fold down step up here somewhere. It attaches right here. I'm not sure if this had it or not, but it's not there. So if it did have it, it's not there anymore. This thing is not the prettiest, but the good news is it does run. When I bought this thing, he started it right up. I did not drive it because of the obvious wreck and taking on water damage, but it did start on land and it sounded pretty okay for considering how many hours are on it. And that is the other bad thing. I don't remember the exact hours on it, but it's either 600 or 800. I have to charge the battery again to check, but it's a lot of hours. 4-stroke Sea-Doo motors can last quite a while. They can go over 1,000 hours if you take care of them pretty well. With rental skis, that's hard to come by because they kind of get their use out of them and then sell them for pretty much nothing. But the fact that this thing has 800 hours on it or whatever and still runs, it's a good sign at least, hopefully. Now for 4-stroke jet skis, if you're looking to buy one, look less than 400 hours. That's like the ideal number to find for a good price, obviously. Now for the price of this, I paid $2,500. Not bad considering it does run, but obviously we had the damage to fix. I've seen similar models and similar years on Marketplace with 1,000 hours go for around $6,000. Obviously they're a little bit in better shape, they're not wrecked in the back, but just putting in perspective on how much I paid and how much I think it's worth. And A body for one of these goes for around $2,000, a motor another $3 or $4,000. So I think it's an okay deal as long as it moves in the water. I think we are looking good. Now it's hard to see anything in this engine bay because it's pretty tightly all packed in there, but it all looks to be, and it all looks to be there at least. You can definitely tell it's been in salt water because it is a little corroded, but to be expected, obviously, in salt water. We're gonna get a better look in there once we take the body off to fix the fiberglass, so we can clean up any of the corrosion that we see, clean it up a little bit more, and make it look a little bit better, see if there's anything missing at least. But I don't think there is. I think it's all there at least. First thing I wanna do is I wanna charge up this battery. It's been sitting for a month and a half, so the battery's dead. Charge up the battery, then we can see how many hours are on it, the exact amount of hours. And then we can throw some Flex Seal tape on the cracks and try to get it as watertight as we can. And then throw this thing in the water and make sure it runs in the water. I would like to make sure that works before I start digging into this thing and trying to fix it. That is what's up next. Fingers crossed for me. I need a win here. All these last marine projects I bought have been sinking, hypothetically. They don't end up very good, so I really need a win here. So let's stop dragging it on and get to it. want to talk for a second because I could not get this thing started and it was really frustrating to figure it out. It took me like 4 days to figure it out. I originally thought the battery was just low, so I charged it up, still doing the same thing. Checked it, it was like okay, it was like a little low, so I was like maybe it's the battery, but it should at least be cranking, or trying to crank at least. So I started looking up online. Everyone was saying it's a starter solenoid. If it only clicks once when you try to start it, it's a starter solenoid that's bad, and that's exactly what was happening. So I ordered one, came in a few days, replaced it, still doing the same thing. And then I was like, okay, it must be the battery then. So I went ahead and replaced the battery, put it in, still doing the same thing. So then I charged that battery up some more, and it cranked for like half a second one time. So that got me really confused, and I thought maybe I burnt out that starter solenoid or something. So then I ordered another starter solenoid, put it in, still doing the same thing. No idea why it's not working. So then I started looking for the starter, because that's like the only thing I could think of maybe it being. So I found it, and I was like, it looks a little rusty, so let me just take a hammer. Maybe it's stuck for some reason. Took a hammer, tapped it once, and it started cranking right away. And it started up a few minutes later. I just wanted to go over with you what happened and what I was going through the past 4 days. Very frustrating, but we got it fixed. I knew it was something somewhat simple. It couldn't have been anything major because it did start a month and a half ago, easily. So just a little bit of troubleshooting and we figured it out. Could have saved me 70 bucks on a new battery, but at least the thing has a new battery now. So let's go ahead and hook it up to the truck. I'm gonna take it down, put it in the water, take it for a little test drive. I'm not going to go very far because I don't want the starter locking up or something if it shuts off for whatever reason. I don't have to swim to shore, especially when it's cold out. So let's go test it out. Hopefully it moves. It runs, it moves, all good news. A couple little things. When I first put it in the water, the check engine light came on, so I turned around really quick just because I didn't want to break down. Took it back to shore, and then I turned it on again, and it was perfectly fine. I think it just needed to get ran for a few minutes and start. The check engine light hasn't been on since then, so I think it's all good there. It only turned off on me once, which is good news. I expected this to turn off every time I was in idle, but it only shut off that one time, so I tried it out a few more times, went to full speed and then stopped, let it idle, and it was perfectly fine. Did good. A couple little issues. Turning left was a little bit of an issue. Turning right turned just fine. Turning left, it took a long time to actually turn. Not sure what that was all about. This thing is pretty loose. Maybe something to do with that, or we'll look into it once we take this top off. Another issue was the speed. It only got up to 33 miles an hour. Now, I wasn't running it too hard because I don't want to break down out there, obviously. But the top speed of these are around 50 something miles an hour, so a little bit of an issue there. The water was pretty rough. Maybe a wear ring needs replaced. Once we take the top off and take all that stuff apart, we'll be able to get a better idea of what's going on. Other than that, it ran great. Reverse works, neutral works, everything works as it should. And it sounds pretty good. I was a little worried because it sounded a little rough there for a second, but it sounds really good now. Now this actually worked out surprisingly well. There was already a little bit of water in the engine bay that I couldn't get out, and didn't seem to get any more water in it. I mean, I rode it for about 15, 20 minutes, and it didn't really leak that much, so I could probably rock it like this for a full day and not have to worry about it. This is a good start to a project. No more mechanical stuff to worry about, hopefully. Next episode, we're gonna take this thing into the garage, start tearing it apart so we can start fixing the fiberglass repair. I'm gonna start ordering a lot of the other parts. Along with the parts I'm gonna order a new starter. That way I don't have to worry about it. I'll replace that once this body is off. That way it's easier to get to. Yeah, if you guys can think of anything else that we can do to this, I'm not looking to supercharge it or anything like that. I'm just trying to make this thing a fun little summer toy. Nothing super crazy, but if there's any like mods you guys know of, maybe a speaker system, who knows? Leave them in the comments below. I have an Instagram you can follow. I posted a sneak peek of this on my story. You guys can check it out there. Also a Facebook and a TikTok. Check those out too. If you have any parts suppliers that you know of that I can get some parts for this, that'd be great to know too. All right, I will catch you in the next episode, digging in this thing and hopefully fixing this fiberglass. Hopefully. Good things, good thoughts. We're at a good start right here. Let's keep it going. All right, catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.